Detective Hercule Poirot seeking a serial murderer who has so far had a pattern of sending us letters at our home at Poirot. Before every murder. First murder was one Alice Asher who lived in, where is the city? I don't actually have the town written down, I think, but it began with an A. Second was a Betty Bernard who lived in Bexel, followed by a Sir Carmichael Clark who lived in Combside Manor in the city of Churston. Somebody has a pattern. When last we left off, we had made two major notices. First, our fourth letter, indicating the D's in Doncaster, where, thanks to a tangential clue, we think we know where this person is getting all these names. You see, Sir Carmichael Clark was a doctor, specifically a throat doctor, and some of his papers got burned. We reassembled them and found the names of Alice, Betty, a guy who lives in Doncaster whose first and last name both begin with D, who owns an inn called the Black Swan. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, and I don't think I wrote it down because we've never met the guy. It also included the name of one Alex Bonaparte Cust. Put those initials together and you get ABC.
Is it related? Is it not?
Well, we've apprehended the guy, and I think we were headed off to question him when we last left off.
I believe you're correct, my dear astute daughter.
Current running theories, we have two of them. There's the Alex Bonaparte Cust theory, in other words, Cust is the guy behind all this, and there's the third murder is the real murder theory, because we noticed there's some differences. Most notably that the Sir Carmichael Clark murder rested on information that could not have possibly been known beforehand unless you did a lot of asking around the town or were already involved. Both of the other murders were completely opportunistic. I mean, they targeted the individuals, but Alice was struck down by a customer saying, "Hey, can you get that thing behind you?" and then banged to the back of the head, and Betty was strangled with her own belt. Betty with her own belt in Bexhill. If the A murder
Another B.
Yeah, that's what I was getting
Now,
at.
if we could prove that the thing that the first one got hit with was a pot filled or something filled with anise or some sort of spice or something else beginning with A, we could. But then again, getting the throat cut with the dagger, that with the knife, that throws all the alliteration off with the weapon. So
yeah, it would have had to be a cutlass.
You beat me to the punch on that one. I got to give you credit for that one. You beat me to the pun on that one. As you can see, I've taught her well.
Yeah.
All right. So, without any further ado, since we used all the ado making dinner tonight, let's go ahead and get things rolling.
I have disappeared.
Yes, you have disappeared. Well, I do have ways to rectify that problem.
I am a ghost. A ghost in the system. I am no longer a ghost, but I am in front of you.
Again, a temporary problem.
Yay!
Now, I'll lock myself down so I don't go anywhere for now. All right, so we are at 81%, so we are almost there.
At our current rate, we might finish tonight, maybe.
Yeah, I have a feeling we will, since we think we've got it in hand. We got the suspect in hand.
Yeah. Given some of the information from last stream and the characters that we're focused on, yeah.
I'd say it's a pretty good shot. All right, here we go. We have Thor's hammer in our collection of trophies now. All right, this is the guest house where we need to go. Now, is there anything else we can investigate here? That's a taxi take us home. Let's see what we got here. Victim, owner of the Black Swan Hotel, Dick Dunbar.
Right. That is the fourth individual we found in the papers that were burned.
Right.
He also kind of had a heart attack or something when he got called by the police.
Yep.
Because he realized he was housing a murderer.
And that his name fit the pattern?
Uh-huh. Yeah. That is... Ouch.
Alright, so. And now I think we just need to go inside.
Yep. We're talking to the landlady, right? Okay.
Yeah, I just checking to make sure if there's anything else we need to do off of. Nope.
I will
Let's head
notice
right
that
inside.
The second door is boarded up. There's a second window on the second floor. Fourth if you count from the right.
Alright.
Are there any mirrors about?
Okay, go up the stairs eventually. Ah, nope, nothing hidden behind there.
How do you do? You must be Mr.
I meant to try to do the
Chief
observation
Inspector Jack
button.
told me that you might be
Well,
coming.
it was giving you a speech bubble, so I don't think that was an option.
Oh, that's right. She's the landlady. She's the landlady for
She's the landlady of Bonaparte Cust.
of Bonaparte Cust. Okay, great help or be annoyed at her peeling potatoes.
We're professionals.
Yeah, we're professionals here.
Madame, you may be of valuable help to me.
It would be my pleasure to help you. Will there be some journalists there as well?
I think you might even be interviewed. You are key witness.
Play to the ego.
I've suspected him for some time, but he appeared so harmless.
Sure.
Oh yes, sometimes he got angry and waved his arms about. But even then, he wasn't frightening. And he was as gentle as a lamb again immediately afterwards. It was only this morning that I understood. He told me he was going to Cheltenham, but my daughter saw him at Euston Station. It's not the right station. To get to Cheltenham, you have to take the train from Paddington. And what's more, Mr. Cuss left behind an ABC with Doncaster underlined.
Oops.
As you can imagine, when I saw that, I called Scotland Yard.
You left his calling card behind.
Whoops. Ask her how she knew about the ABC. Well, it's public.
It's public knowledge because it's in the newspapers.
Everybody knows about it now.
So I think that automatically needs to put us over here.
Yeah.
Play to the ego.
Yeah.
Right?
Because she's feeding us. She's just feeding us.
Yeah, let's keep spoon feeding the birdie here so she keeps singing.
Yeah.
Well done. You were right. He did go to Doncaster.
So I was right to warn the police.
Tell me, did you have any other reason to suspect Mr. Cust?
Well, he's odd. Sometimes he coughs really loudly and complains that his throat is burning, and sometimes he talks to himself and stares into space. He told me that it was because of a wound he got in the wall. His head hasn't been quite right since, he said. And then he was in Churston when that millionaire got murdered. I found his train ticket when I washed his coat. He didn't want me to wash his shirt. He washed it himself. But I did see big brown stains on it.
All right, do we want to ask her if it was blood, or should we ask where they were?
I'm going to ask here, how is where the stains were going?
It would be important to narrow down.
Problem. If he had stains all over his shirt.
The blood would have gone forward from him.
Which means if the blood was landing on the sides of his shirt, where it could have been hidden by a jacket or something, then that would tell us something. But if there's any blood on the front of this shirt, he's innocent.
And remember, there was red stains on the front of his shirt when we first saw him.
Which means this can't be our guy.
Because if he got on the
Because
if he did it from behind, like
because this is what he did. Yoink.
The blood's gonna go forward.
So if I'm standing here, I'm protected from getting any blood on the front of my shirt.
Yeah.
So if the blood was on the front of his shirt, this guy's innocent.
Yeah. That maybe he's being used.
We need to know
where
where.
were the stains on the shirt?
On the collar and on the buttonholes.
He's clean.
Cust used to travel for his work. Is that correct?
Oh, it wasn't for pleasure. He was always unwell on trains. But he had to sell his stockings around England. I have to respect my engagements, he used to say.
Do you know where Cust was at the time of the murder in Andover and Bexhill? On June the 21st and July the 25th?
No, I don't know. That was a while ago, you know.
But surely you keep a register.
And she wouldn't have known to
It
think
won't
about
do
it.
much good. Mr. Cuss rents his room for the year. If he goes away for a few days, I have no reason to make a note of it.
True.
I remember one thing. Bexhill by the sea, right?
Indeed, it is a large seaside resort.
Well, as it happens, at the start of July, Mr. Cast asked me to repair his bathing dress. Suspicious, huh?
Continue or point out that it's not the only seaside resort?
Either one of these might get us more information.
Yeah. Which is going to be the better choice, though.
If we confirm it, she might keep looping in the same place. If we contradict it, we might shut her down.
Yeah. Let her continue. Keep feeding the birdie.
Sure.
Okay.
Both strategies are valid.
Yeah.
I think. Especially since we've already proven by her own words that this is not actually the guy we want.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Please continue.
I also forgot to say that he started buying newspapers that talked about the case.
You want more details or ask when he started buying?
Well, when is a very specific detail, and it's also a very useful one. If he was buying papers before all this started, then that means he's looking for something.
Right.
If he starts buying after this gets popular,
He's gathering souvenirs.
then this is reactionary.
Mm-hmm.
That tells it. Okay.
I'd say
Working from a perspective of he is the killer, then we would expect him to start buying before.
Right.
Because he's waiting for them to say stuff.
Yeah.
And he's looking.
Mm-hmm.
If he starts buying after, then it's an, oh gosh, what the heck?
Or he's gathering mementos or souvenirs of what he's done.
Yeah.
There's some psychotic killers that will do that. That will keep souvenirs or headlines showing as a reminder what they did, so they can relive the thrill, so to speak.
Yeah. But then again, with the if he were the killer, that would have started early on.
Yeah. So I think we need to know the timing.
Yeah, we need to know the timing.
When did he start buying the newspapers?
Let's see. I think it was just after the millionaire's murder in Churchton. He didn't seem all that interested before that.
He would have
That
been
will be all
looking
for
during
now.
the Bexhill
I'm
stuff.
going to take a look at his room.
Take the
This-
key on the counter.
Can't be our guy.
Yeah, something's not right.
The sea murder's the real murder. Now it'll let us look.
All right.
This woman appears to be in a good mood.
Well, she's smiling. And it looks like with movements.
Smile.
Brought out the good jewelry?
I really would like to help, but I think I've said all I have to say.
Posture. Okay.
Mrs. Marbury is in a good mood. She's working very precisely in producing incredibly thin peel.
Important to make the most out of the potatoes.
Yeah. All right. So
All right.
Ms. Marbury, Mr. Cuss landlady, saw him washing bloodstained shirt.
I'm writing down our 2 key clues. Blood on front of shirt after...
On the cuff. It's on the cuff. It was on the cuff.
Well, he said it was on the buttons.
Buttonholes. Yeah.
Yeah, which if it's on the buttons, then it's on the front of the shirt.
Yeah.
And didn't start buying papers until Churston.
Yeah.
We released the information to the press after Bexhill.
Yeah.
He would have been buying that if he were looking for mementos.
Right.
And he would have been buying newspapers looking for it after the Asher case as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see if anybody made any connections.
Right. And if he was using the newspaper to help do some of his research, newspapers do his research, he would have started then before then as well.
Yeah, the paper buying is striking me as reactionary.
Plus 12 ego points. We did well.
Oh yeah, we did.
All right. Now, the one thing I do need to check here. Do we have a mirror in here to do a stash check with?
We need to stash check. We can't stash check. don't think we're gonna
Nope,
get into
no
a
stash
private
check
room.
here. Okay.
But the key is on the counter, she said.
Oh, that's right. We need to get the key.
I should check the register. Mrs. Marbury may have been hiding something from me.
Just to confirm.
I don't think my register will help you. Mr. Cuss rents his room all year. If he goes away for a few days, I have no reason to make a note of it.
She's not going to let us look. Oh, we are going to get to look. Okay, Marbury Boarding House. Guest registration.
The truth is becoming apparent.
I
Oh,
don't
hang on.
see
Let's
it.
pull it back. I was trying to adjust it.
And it went too far.
Yeah, let's go back.
I don't think my register will
Let's
help
click
you. Mr. Cuss rents his room all year. If he goes away for a few days, I have no reason to make a note of it.
Alright.
Stop.
The truth is becoming apparent, and I
No,
have
it's gonna make
something
us
to
read
say
out
to
again.
Mrs. Marbury.
Alright.
Alright,
Let me try it because pulling it the whole way is making it move on.
I
Alright.
don't think...
We need to stop
Yeah.
before it turns all the way.
Alright.
Hepburn, Lawhorn, Johnson, Wither, O'Reilly, Dolt.
I don't see a Mr. Cust anywhere. Especially for the days that we're looking for.
Yep, no cust.
Now, here's the dates in June.
I should have written down the dates the murders happened.
O'Reilly, Doyle, Butler.
Yeah, there's just...
Taylor, Fishman. Fishman. Coming back.
Yeah, I'm not seeing repeats.
Butler.
17th and 18th. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We don't need to hear the line a third time.
No. Alright, I think we can go upstairs now.
External points. Something else to inspect.
Oh,
It looks like I've found the real master of this house.
Aww!
okay.
Kitty!
Alright, I'll let you do the investigation here.
Kitty. Well-loved pillow. With hair on it. Cat portrait. And somebody's toys.
And like I do in everyone else's streams, tonight's Cute Kitty Cans brought to you once again by
There's no need
Poirot's
to worry
Mustache
about the
Wax.
household cat. I'm sure that Mrs. Marbury lets it do what it pleases.
Do you need your stash to shine like the sun? Use our product and every day will be a brand new day to make sure everyone does their stash check.
Check. But we still need a mirror to check.
I have something to say to Mrs. Marbury.
Oh.
Okay, we gotta talk to her first.
Okay, we gotta go back and talk.
We've already looked.
Mrs.
Okay.
Marbury is in a good mood. She's working very precisely in producing
Okay, so he's
incredibly
noticed something in the
thin
guest book that we have not.
Yeah. Alright, so let's talk to her once again.
Mrs. Marbury, if I am to believe the register, you rented room 306 to a certain Mr. Fishman on the
Mr.
day of the
Fishman.
Bexil murder. Room 306 is Cust's room. Can you explain yourself?
Yes, I remember. Just for one night as a favor. Mr. Cust was away, all my other rooms were taken, and poor Mr. Fishman had nowhere to go.
Be understanding or indicate that that is illegal?
I'm not really sure. I mean, this is not an officer of the law, but he's... Yeah.
Keep feeding the bird. Or do we confront her?
don't know why, but I'm leaning towards confronting.
Okay. All right, let's give it a whirl here.
You rented the same room to 2 people. Very profitable, but quite illegal.
But I didn't harm anyone. I was only helping everybody out.
True, but plus 3 ego points, so that was the right call.
Yep. All right, now we're ready to go upstairs.
I think her ego has slightly overstepped her.
Yeah. All right, Cust's room. Okay, so we have here. She sublets rooms to other guests when her usual residents are away. Is added to the notebook. And now we're just going to search his room.
Somebody was in this room who was not Mr. Cust.
Yeah.
So we have to keep that in mind.
All right, there's the typewriter. Maybe someone else is using the typewriter instead of him?
I see something slightly more important.
What? Oh, yeah. Stash check.
Stash check.
Gotta do the stash check. All right, shall we start here and work our way clockwise around the room?
Yeah. I
All
feel
right.
like that typewriter is going to be a big one.
Yeah. Okay,
Medicine
so we have...
and medicine. We already know the guy has throat problems.
Laudanum Cameron's Chemists. Laudanum, a medicine for coughs.
Yeah.
It is what Dr. Clark prescribed for Mrs. Asher. This subject will probably be useful to me.
Laudanum is a form of, if I remember right, it's a camphorated form of opium that used to be used quite a bit.
I don't know much about it, but I know it's common, and I know it was kind of addictive.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Didn't know it was an opioid.
Yeah.
And
It's a morphine. It's a derivative similar to morphine.
this is why we have our chemist. A sedative.
Chloroform.
Ooh.
Chloroform, ipecac, ammonium chloride, menthol. 1 teaspoonful
Every hour for 6 doses.
Every hour for 6 doses, then 1 teaspoonful every 2 hours for succeeding doses.
Not knowing much about chloroform, but that seems a little strong to me.
That's about right. Usually chloroform, people think of that as being on the rag that you used to make someone knock out.
But this is ingested.
Yeah, but this is being also mixed with other things as well to try to knock, and it would have the ability to knock someone out orally as well.
Okay. So what else is on the label?
So we got
we can
ipecac,
turn
which
around.
is used to keep people from throwing up from taking it.
Diethyl barbituric acid.
Oh,
I
barbiturate.
know this medicine.
Yeah,
It is a powerful sedative.
it's a barbiturate. It's got a
This
barbiturate in
subject
there
will
as well.
probably be useful to me.
Should we really be taking the man's medicine? Well, he is in custody.
Yeah, he's in custody.
He's in custody. He needs this stuff.
And
We're
their ti-
basically picking up his inhaler.
their ties to the other cases because the first lady had laudanum,
Mhm.
and
I don't think we've seen the sedative before.
yes, we have with the second. I thought we saw it with the second one.
Because she had a throat medicine, but maybe.
Or we had it with somebody.
Was that with Ms. Carmichael? One of the medicines that she was getting?
Might have been.
Because she was getting a whole bunch of stuff.
All right.
'Cause, you know, dying of cancer.
Check the bed.
How hopeful. This place is a real mess.
Clothes are folded up on the chair.
Yeah. Scruffy coat.
Bed's not made.
Misaligned bed.
And the bowls are all over the place.
Crockery in a mess.
The least we can say that Mr. Cust is not very concerned about order and balance.
This is true. Let's walk over here. That can take us to the desk. Okay.
bunch of stuff to look at.
All right.
The least we can say.
Okay, that
that
takes
Mr.
us back to
Cust
there.
is not very
I didn't know if we're
concerned
going to get
about
to the.
order and
It was going
balance.
to take us to the drawers or
looks
not.
like we can't get into the drawers.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. That's why I was double checking to see if we could.
Okay, so we're looking for 6 things. We have
All right.
whatever that is.
Cust is parsimonious. He keeps his pencils and sharpens them until there is nothing left. It is clear that he did not grow up in luxury.
So cheapskate with probably good reason.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a door-to-door stocking salesman.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to skip over the typewriter right now and hit the others first.
Yeah, hit everything else.
Did Cust drop it when he opened the window? Or was it Mrs. Marbury while she was cleaning?
I mean, either way, not great.
Either way, it wouldn't surprise me if it was Mr. Cust because he's not been very cleanly with everything else.
And he isn't the steadiest of people in mind frame.
John Milligan, Managing Director, Silky Legs, Frederick Street, Leicester. To A.B. Cust, Marbury's Guest House, 1935, May the 21st. Dear
So
sir,
before all this started.
further to our letters dated 5th and 10th of the month, we confirm we are you as door-to-door salesman, according to the conditions stated in our previous letters. We will send you the articles by mail and also a Redfield typewriter you will be using for every business letter. Regarding the schedule of your rounds, please do as following. June 21, Andover. Arrive by train the 20th in the evening and get a room at Station Hotel. Start your turn in the north part of the town. This letter establishes that Cust went to Andover, but the ink has hidden the destinations of his other trips. I know from Mrs. Marbury that he went to Churston. I just have to show that he went to Bexhill, and I will have proved that he was present at all the crime scenes.
All right.
That letter didn't have the defects of the other
That's what
messages.
you were looking for that too? It does not have the defects.
But he did mention this typewriter specifically.
Yeah.
So this might be the typewriter that did it. Here's a knife. And it is
A long-bladed
clean.
knife. A murderer's weapon. This object will probably be useful to me.
And here's the ABC.
It's an ABC.
Looking.
That's all 6 of. All right, now the typewriter.
Now the typewriter.
I have to get the ribbon. How am I going to do it?
Oh, is this a puzzle typewriter?
Could be. Oh, we need to get the ribbon off.
Do we need to move the thing in the middle?
There we. Hang on. Let's survey what we have.
Because the ribbon will tell us what it was last used to type.
Yeah. Because back in the old days when I was a kid your age and younger, I had a manual typewriter. And you had to load the ribbon in, and it turned on the wheel. For those of us,
we've got selection mechanisms.
there we go.
Oh, it's making you unscrew it.
Yeah, there we
The
go.
left-hand heel has been removed.
So let's come over here.
The right-hand heel has been removed. Something is blocking the ribbon.
Check the center.
Yep.
That's the only other thing touching.
Yeah, we got to
The
slide
double
that.
eye defect.
Yep, there it is.
Mr. Poirot, I'm quite sorry for you.
There we go.
And here
We
is
should
the
have to
ribbon.
hook it behind in there
Let
for
us
the
see if
keys
it
to
was
strike.
indeed used to write the letters sent by ABC. I only need the ink ribbon for my inquiry. I will let Jack clean the keyboard if he wishes.
Quadruple gear trophy. All right.
This still isn't right.
All the letters announcing the murders were written on Cust's typewriter.
Because double I defect. But this isn't right. Did you see what words it was ending on? Poor Mr. Poirot, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
That is not the end of a letter.
No, it's the beginning of one.
That's the beginning of one. This is a frame job.
Like it's the beginning of the next one.
So why would a... Okay, the only way for that ribbon to end up in that position on the typewriter is for somebody to start the ribbon on that typewriting on that ribbon, remove the ribbon, continue with a fresh ribbon, if I'm understanding how typewriter ribbons work, which seems pretty self-explanatory, then finish the letter on a new ribbon, save the first ribbon, and then plant it here.
That's a possibility if it's the same. If it's a model typewriter that uses the same brand and type of ribbon.
Because due to the double I defect,
and there's only one real way to test that out.
Use this typewriter on a fresh ribbon to make sure the defects are coming from this typewriter and not another typewriter.
Exactly.
Which is easily done.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, the ribbon shouldn't stop in the middle of the letter.
Right.
That fact is condemning. This was a frame job.
Okay. All right, let's take a look at the rest of the evidence here in the room.
Something's not straight.
Boxes looks like they're full of ABCs.
He sells stockings.
ABC guys. Enough to sign about a dozen murders. It's closed.
We have knife.
It's closed.
We have knife.
I know. It's not letting us.
Hit the arrow. The noodling team. Also, hi. Thank you, Crit Witch.
Hey, Crit Witch. Yep, we're noodling our way through this.
This knife is very useful. Who knows? Maybe it never cut anything other than string.
And here we got stockings that he was selling.
Same brand.
The brand that he was selling. Now, we also have this over here.
The closet. Can we find the shirt?
Okay.
We have a newspaper.
The Bexhill Daily paper, dated from the day of the Bexhill murder.
Where was Cust at the time?
Most probably the basting dress repaired by Mrs. Marbury's expert hands. All the main articles referring to the ABC case are here, from the Churston murder onwards. Nothing before that date.
Before that date.
Nothing before.
But Bexhill is a separate stack.
Yep.
Trousers, white shirts. Everything has been washed very well.
Interesting.
All right.
A lot neater in there than it is with that being thrown down.
Do we have any more little gray cell work we can do?
Yes, we do.
Because we have thoughts.
Where was Cust at the time of the Bexhill murder?
Okay, that doesn't give anything. Wait, close look at that paper again. Look at the top row. Bexhill Journal.
Right. It says Bexhill local paper.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Bexhill local paper. Toss the bathing dress and add in the landlady. Oh, it was elsewhere on July 25th.
Yeah.
So 25th was the day.
The register shows that Cust did not sleep at the guest house on the day of the murder. Where was he? Bexhill. The Bexhill paper reveals it. Cust bought this newspaper in Bexhill on July the 25th.
And yet this isn't adding up.
Yeah. Alright, I think we're done in here.
I mean, unless we want to look at the things on the walls. Like, what's that paper on the wall?
Oh, we do have something with it.
War of 1914-1918. By the King's order, the name of Corporal A.B. Cust, Devonshire Regiment, was published on the London Gazette on May the 10th, 1918, as mentioned in a dispatch for gallant and distinguished service. An army dispatch, wounded under some front, victim of a gas attack. Corporal
That would do
Cost
it.
greatly deserves his
explain the throat.
distinction.
That would also explain the... Because if he's gas exposure, that's mustard gas, and
Right.
that will mess you up.
Yeah, it'll mess you up in a lot of ways.
Yeah. So someone... You've got two very strictly conflicting strains of thought here.
Mhm.
The closet is neatly organized. This guy has the naming convention.
Yeah.
But everything else is saying this is a frame-up.
Yeah. Yeah. We got two conflicting things going on here. We gotta work our way through.
And we know that it wouldn't be hard to get access to this room to stage it. She's admitted
Yeah.
that she lets other people into their rooms
Yeah,
when they're
she's
not
been.
here.
We've caught her running into other people in the past.
And we
Had-
know for a fact that somebody had the room.
Right.
And we have no way of knowing who that is.
Right.
I mean, anyone could just show up, pay the money, say, hi,
It
my
is
name
not the
is
right
Mr.
time.
Fishburne.
Okay, there's something else we need to do. We've done everything here.
Do we need to check out the items we have or anything? I don't know.
Laudanum, a medicine for coughs. It is what Dr. Clark prescribed for Mrs. Asher. I know this medicine. It is a powerful sedative.
And then just the key.
This key bears the number 306.
All right, there's something else in here that we need to do. Make sure we didn't miss anything here. Yep.
Can we walk further forward in the room?
Hmm?
Can we walk further forward in the room?
Let's see.
For once, Poirot, this is not the time for mirror gazing.
Done that. We've done that.
The least we can say that Mr. Cust is not very concerned about order and balance.
That's all part of the desk.
That's down in the plumbing.
Yeah. Ah.
Bloodstain. Or something.
This dark stain. It could be blood, but
But who
goodness knows how long it has been there. No use continuing the inspection of this room.
Okay,
I've
that's what
seen
we
all
missed.
there is to see.
All right.
It's inconsistent.
It's a lot of convincing evidence against.
But this is
Mr.
so
Cust.
circumstantial.
Goodbye, Mrs. Marbury. Thank you for your help.
Bye.
He was there. He was there.
Ah,
he
Chief
was
Inspector.
there. He has
I was about to
things.
leave.
Good
Nothing
evening,
to
Chief
say it's
Inspector. Welcome. Please excuse me, I must go to the kitchen. I'll leave the key of Mr. Cust on the counter.
Trying to make a good impression.
I'm sorry I'm late. I've spent ages with the Doncaster police. And you?
I have established one fact. On 3 occasions, Cust was at the scene on the day of the crimes.
All right, talk to Jeff.
And let's inspect.
Whoop. All right.
Is it doing the weird stuff again?
It's probably doing the kind of thing where...
Oh, goodness. Chap is very confused.
It is not the right time.
Oh, I wasn't trying to leave. There we go.
Here we are.
I had best talk to Chap.
So we need to...
I had best
Nope,
talk
it's not
to
going to
Chap.
let us do anything. Observation. Okay, fine. Alright.
I've listened closely to what you have to say, Poirot. For me, there's no doubt Cust is guilty. Do you have any element that might prove the contrary?
That is what we're going to look for. Let us now try and get our brain cells
Alright,
to
it's
work.
Grace Soul time.
But will they let us put what I'm thinking into practice?
Was it possible for Cuss to have killed them?
He was in Churston. He was in Andover. He was in Bexhill.
So, he has opportunity.
Now we need means and motive.
Any common points between Cuss and the killer?
The typewriter.
UBC guides. The typewriter.
The lie does not prove commonalities.
True, that is true.
We're looking for common points, and that would be the knife.
He suffers from hemoptysis.
It's the knife. We need common
Yeah.
points between Cust and killer.
Right.
We're not
Mhm.
looking at his health condition.
Yeah. Because with his health, that's where this blood stains could come from. I forgot about that. He'd be coughing up blood because
Yeah.
of the tissue damage from the mustard gas.
And that would explain him having blood on his front instead of on his shirt sleeves. Or on his sides. Or on his jacket, which would make a lot more sense.
Okay.
Is his
Is
behavior...
they were suspicious?
He lied about his destination. He had blood on him,
He
and
had
he's
blood
keeping
on him.
newspapers.
He was keeping the newspapers and lied about the destination. Yeah.
He's hecka suspicious. We will admit this.
The evidence against Cust is overwhelming. His presence at the scenes, the knife, the blood-stained shirt, the ABCs in a box.
C'est vrai. However,
However,
the blood Mrs. Marbury saw on Cust's shirt may have been his own. According to his medical records, he suffers from hemoptysis. The murderer cut Sir Carmichael's throat from behind, and the blood spurted outwards. You would expect the murderer's shirt to be stained on the sleeves, not on the buttonholes, yet we see quite the opposite. You would expect the murderer to keep the newspaper articles about his crimes. But Cust's collection starts in Churston, as if it discovered the case rather late.
I agree it's troubling, but it doesn't change my mind. There's small details that
And
we
it
should be
shouldn't,
able to clear up
as
by
an inspector.
questioning Cust.
When can we talk to him?
Doncaster is sending him to us on the first train.
Are they questioning him already?
He says he can't remember a thing.
It's plausible. Doctors say he suffers from absences and amnesia. Mrs. Marbury has confirmed this.
He may have done the murders in an altered state.
A familiar situation.
It's not enough to clear his name. Dr. Thompson insisted that even if you don't know what you're doing, you never commit a murder without wanting to.
Très intéressant. I shall remember that.
Right. I'll go and examine the suspect's room.
Chief Inspector, I took the liberty of removing a few clues to examinatum.
All right, we'll discuss them tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm going to see if you've missed something.
fair enough.
Yeah. They should have the typewriter.
Mm-hmm.
We already have what we need to know about it.
Yeah, because they can test the typewriter.
It's just everything we have against him is circumstantial, although altered state of consciousness might help explain it, but we don't have anything that says absolutely for certain this guy pulled, well,
Yeah.
not pulled the trigger, but
Mm-hmm.
this guy was holding a knife that did murder.
Right.
To Scotland Yard, please.
Circumstantial evidence does not hold
Right.
up.
Because what's the big thing we're missing?
Why?
Motive.
Why? Why would he do this?
Here's Mr. Cuss.
Candelabra mustache.
Candelabra. All right.
Fancy. Mhm. Cup of water, cup of water.
All right, let's do some observation here.
This man is not in good shape.
Twitchy.
Shaking hands. It's got lowered eyes.
Clothes I'm in a great state.
What do you want from me?
I think it might be the tie. Because it was closest when you were in that area.
There we go. And the crumpled
Crumpled up
jacket.
jacket.
He is worried and very tired, and other police have been hard on him.
All right, time to talk.
Let's talk.
What do you want from me?
Facts? Okay. I'm going to preface this by saying we know this guy has had altered states of mind with the whole amnesia thing.
Mm-hmm.
We can't assume he knows anything.
Yeah.
Unless we make him say it.
And it would be Poirot's personality to present who he is.
Yeah. So either we ask him if he knows who you are, or we present ourselves. We do not ask who he is.
Yeah. All right.
Because if this guy is dealing with altered states of mind and multiple personality problems, that is a very bad question to start with.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like he's got PTSD,
yeah,
or as they referred to it back then, shell shock, because this is after World War I is when we really started learning more about, when we first started seeing.
Because we know there's shell shock, and there's probably some kind of mood disorder in there as well, caused by muscular gas.
Good day, Mr. Cust. I am Hercule Poirot.
Ah, you're the detective.
He's heard of us.
Shall we talk about the letters first?
We can't assume that he sent them.
Yeah, we're under the we're under team. We're playing under team hashtag he was framed.
Yeah, and also from Hercule Poirot's perspective of, we can't prove this guy did it yet. Assume innocent until proven guilty.
Still proven guilty.
Yes,
For the...
I am the person you have been sending the letters to.
I didn't write these letters. I've already said so.
Acknowledge his innocence or get him to admit he's forgotten. That second option sounds like a forced confession.
Yeah.
And that is skeevy.
If we're going to get him to open up, we need him to know he's on our side.
Yeah.
Good cop versus bad cop.
Yeah. This guy's already
Très bien.
freaking out enough.
You did not hide these letters. But the question remains, who did?
Probably one of my enemies. I have
Paranoia.
many.
Mm-hmm.
We do not accuse him.
We're not going to accuse.
Because that's kind of stupid.
Is he capable of killing? Well, that's kind of a...
Either of the two on the side.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards this one.
Okay.
What do you think?
I'm good with either. Just
Okay.
don't accuse him of...
All right, I'm going to go with this one. Again, taking the good cop approach.
Yeah.
I do not believe that you are capable of murder, Mr. Cust.
I hope not.
He doesn't look like he'd be physically able to do the things.
Insist that he enjoyed the war? No. No.
Let's get him to talk
That
about
is
his
wrong.
time in the army.
Saying someone enjoyed a war when they're in this state is just very wrong.
Yeah.
You suffered during the war.
It's true. I was wounded. I suffered. But the army was the only place I didn't feel inferior. No questions. Just orders to follow.
But ever since you were wounded, you have absences, bouts
So
of
he did
amnesia.
enjoy being in the army.
And headaches.
But it wasn't about the killing,
Professor
it was about
Clark
control.
treated you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a few years ago he really helped me with my burned
Purpose.
throat.
He actually helped him with his symptoms, so why would he kill him?
Yeah, no.
And if he didn't kill him, then what would he have had to do with the other two?
No. It's like
Yeah, that was quite an option. These are some interesting options, aren't they, Kurtwitch?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I lean towards this one.
Yeah. We have poked too many holes in this story.
Yeah. But he could be convinced that he did it without having any memory.
I think that's what's going on here, actually.
Yeah.
I mean...
Of course, you never considered killing a doctor who took such good care of you.
No, never.
Okay, he's getting a little agitated. But we're definitely going the right path.
Yeah.
Does he acknowledge going to the 3 towns? Or say that the witnesses on witnesses is gonna be
Condemning.
condemnation. I think we go with the other.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Because that is a firm, solid piece of information that he can hold on to in whatever's here. He was in these places.
Right. But he may have been there for good reason. He was doing his job.
Yeah. We know he was there for the first one, at least on business.
Yeah.
And
do you deny being
events?
at the scene of the crimes?
So? There was no harm in being there. It was only for my work.
You were seen at all the crime scenes.
Yes, I was. I travel a lot, but not for pleasure. I am terribly unwell in trains. But I had to respect my engagements. My employer gave me very precise written instructions about the towns I had to visit.
Let's see. The company you claim to work for, Silky Legs, has never heard of you. And as for these letters they sent you, they were written on your own typewriter.
The company sent me the typewriter when I started working for them.
Hello.
Yes, but the letters were received afterwards.
Okay, that piece of information I did not catch.
Okay, this is the standard Agatha Christie trick of hers, throwing in evidence that we didn't know about.
Because I don't remember seeing the defects on that letter, but Poirot is claiming it was there.
Yeah.
So I think we can assume that that letter was meant to be, that Poirot isn't giving fake information to a witness. That's complete. No.
That's not his style.
He uses facts. So we can say, here's what happens with the typewriter.
Mm-hmm.
Someone, be it Cust or somebody else doing the frame job, types out all of these letters, including the ones that go to Poirot, before the typewriter gets sent to him. They access his room to plant the typewriter ribbon that they saved from writing this letter.
Right. They send him the same typewriter, so that way it'll be linked to him.
And if someone else is doing the framework, this is more of their framework. If it's Cust doing it crazy, which we don't think so, then it's Cust covering his own tracks. And really, the way he is interacting does not say mastermind.
Yeah, it doesn't
Either
say...
he is a dang good actor and has been for years to fool all of his doctors.
Yeah, or...
Someone
has really played the long game in setting this up.
Yeah. And with someone who has amnesia problems, this is a perfect target.
Mm-hmm.
Because he can't honestly say, I didn't do these things, because he knows he has memory problems. Yeah. And that's what's going on here. It's wreaking havoc on his psyche, because what if I did do it?
Yeah, exactly. All right.
It would appear that you typed them.
So
it doesn't prove.
I'm going to go. I would say we go with this one rather than it proves that you wrote them.
So it would appear that you typed them before sending them to yourself.
I don't remember.
That's exactly what's going on.
I don't know what's happening to me. My head hurts terribly.
Can we give the guy his medicine, please? Gothic confessional. I think that's one of the things for a perfect interview.
Could be.
He is shaking.
All right, so the Roselsman, he was in each town, lives at the guest house. So that's our new information there. Keep questioning Cust.
Can we observe him again? Because he's changed states.
Trying to see if we can.
It started working again once we did something other than the thing we were trying to do with Jap earlier. So maybe look at a piece of evidence and see if that'll jag it out a bit.
Alright, let's do that.
And now it's just worse. Do it. Sorry, Mr. Cust, but the digital marionette strings that allow us to puppet this digital Hercule Poirot in order to continue your digital interrogation is malfunctioning. And we cannot control what's going on.
Yep. Alright. Alright, I'm going to do the old-fashioned special here. We're going to do the old quit and come back trick.
And if somebody is puppeting Cust, we have our off-screen guesses of whom. After all.
He is prey to a terrible anxiety. Is it remorse? Or simply the pressure of the questioning and the train journey?
Oh, and another thing, we had a theory early on from, I think it was either Jap or Poirot, that whoever was doing this
to a
liked
terrible
trains.
anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Is it remorse?
This
Or
guy gets
simply the
sick on
pressure
him.
of the questioning and the train
Because
journey?
of them using the ABCs, so they'd be a train aficionado.
He don't like trains.
He is in no state to reply. He is in no state to reply.
Can we give the man his meds?
He is prey to a terrible...
Okay.
Okay, do we want the sedative or the laudanum? Because we've got cups.
Well, he's not coughing. The laudanum would be more for a cough.
Okay, then can we give him his sedative?
Take this. It will help you.
Oh, I think I'll be fine.
Let us see, Cust. Look at me. You know very well that you committed these murders?
Yes, I know.
But I'm not wrong in saying that you do not know why you committed them.
No, I don't.
Red Cross for doing the treatment.
He is convinced.
And we get the Kaiser mustache now.
He's convinced he did it and has no idea why. Because whoever's pulling strings did it.
Let us leave Cust alone. He's at the end of his tether.
Exactly what they meant to.
All right, we need to talk to Jack.
He didn't do
And
it.
what conclusions have you drawn?
Plenty. It might help us to understand him a little better. Let us now try and get our brain
Cell
cells
time.
to work.
Let's put together everything we've been talking.
Yeah. All right. What do we know about his
From
health?
Volps. That mustache is nowhere impressive enough to be Poirot.
Hmm?
You know what? The Kaiser mustache is not.
That is true. That is true, Volps. This one, I know this one isn't. This is about the farthest I'm going to get it to grow out. So
And I has no stash. I did not draw one for today.
yeah, no stash on. Okay, so what do we know?
No Bonnie
We
stash.
know he coughs up blood.
Okay. We're looking for health information.
Yeah.
No. Had a problem
He
with
has
his
a
throat.
problem with his throat.
Suffers from absences.
Suffers
Yes.
from absence.
Mentally and physically weak. Not our
the
killer's
profile of a killer. He wouldn't have the strength to do the cuts slash on the number on C. Any clues that do not support his guilt? There.
And the fact that he had no reason to, but that's not really...
I'm going to take this out. and replace it with that.
Yeah.
There we go.
Stained on the sleeves, not on the buttonholes. We see the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Any clues that do not support Cust's guilt at all? I'm going to say not this.
No,
because this has no
that's
relevance
irrelevant.
to anything. That
Right.
just tells us he's mentally off his rocker, which we know. Well, not off his rocker. That's kind of cruel. He's not in a good mental state.
Mm-hmm. The fact that he said he didn't write the letters, that's it.
That's meh. Any clues that do not support his guilt? Blood on him. That does not
That
support
one.
it. And
No
okay.
motive, but that's not going to work, so...
Says he didn't. Maybe it is the fact that he doesn't know.
There we go.
Poirot.
Because, of course he would recognize Pro, because he's been sending the letters.
Doesn't mean he knows what he looks like.
Well,
But-
one would think.
Can we say, without a shadow of a doubt, that Cust is guilty? No! He had no reason to kill these people.
We have plenty of reasons. We have as many reasons to say
I
no
don't
as we
see
do
any
yes.
clearer than before. This is worse.
There is one point to highlight. C'est curieux. Cust admits that he killed, but he does not know why. What did Dr. Thompson say? Even if Cust killed while in an altered state, it still must have been his deepest desire. He must have had a motive.
Let's keep it simple. Never mind his motive. He confessed.
But you see, he can confess to anything and everything. He denied the murders and then confessed to them. He confirmed that he never typed the letters. Then, with great ease, I managed to get him say quite the opposite.
Yeah.
He's
Come
easily
on,
led.
He behaved like a guilty man. He lied to his landlady.
Because deep down he believes himself guilty. From the papers, he noticed that he had always been at the scene of the crimes. He must think that he killed and then simply forgot what he had done.
How can you be so sure?
Let us look at his psychological profile. You will understand my point of view. Let us now try and get our
Great
brain
sometimes.
cells to work.
Draw up his profile.
His profile is very unstable, very easily led, knows that he's not okay, and scared out of his mind by all these coinkydings.
Alright, so is Cust clever? Observation, indeed. Let us look at this murder, if you please. You will see that the murderer carried it out to perfection.
But is the guy we're looking at clever? That doesn't really prove clever. No questions, just orders to follow.
In other words, he didn't do the planning, he did what everyone else told him to do.
Mm-hmm. Not really what we're looking for. Suspected him, but he seems harmless. Sometimes he got angry and waved his arm around, but he was... Okay, what's the last option? Because I think the middle one's the one we want. Yeah, it's the middle one. He was taking orders, not giving them.
Yeah.
Mediocre.
Yeah.
And he feels mediocre, too.
Right.
Is Cust sure of himself?
Yeah. Declaration from Hastings
Oh, no.
himself.
He was very hesitant and shy. Usually door-to-door salesmen are very confident, but he was
He
not.
was not.
He's easily influenced. We led him by the nose all over the place in that
Right.
interview if we tried. Is he a seducer? He was plain.
Medium size, glasses, dark suit, felt hat. Not the sort of person you'd notice.
Completely
Not the sort of
harmless.
person who's going to win the lady over, at least that quickly.
Yeah, no. Does he like trains? No! He gets sick.
No.
He gets very sick.
He does not like being on trains at all. He only does it because he has to. Methodically and prepared his crime meticulously. He never forgets to leave his incriminating signature behind.
Let's see. Let's go back to the last one. Sometimes he got angry and waved his arms about, but even then he wasn't frightening. That's not really cold.
Nope. Without the ABC, we might have suspected Mr. Archer and Mr. Fraser, but by citing his crimes, the murderer is making sure that he is accused. That would, in a way, it is very generous of him.
But this is a guy who's sharpening his pencils down to nothing.
Yeah. He doesn't. What would he? Why
He's
would he be
incredibly
that generous?
You see? Cuss' character is quite the opposite of the murderer's.
But if he's a madman, can we really talk about his character?
Good
You
question.
know very well that our murderer does not behave like a psychopath. Apart from the signature, there is no ritual or repetition in the choice of victims.
Very well, very well. You're right, as always. So, we have no confession, no culprit, no suspects, nothing. And all that after 2 months of inquiry? What should I do?
Have faith. Just give me 24 hours.
Tick, 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 tick.
Because we have somebody with at least 2 reasons for C murder is the real murder.
Yeah, so if we think about it, the primary suspect in the A murder
Was the husband.
was the husband. He really didn't have a motive because he'd be killing the golden goose.
Yep. Major suspect in the second, the husband-to-be.
Mm-hmm.
Just realized this is setting up a bit of a particular pattern, which does end up leading back to our suspect, the person we have in mind, and we've discussed off camera.
Okay.
But anyway, husband-to-be, who is also known for having a temper, but he loved her.
Mm-hmm.
He genuinely loved her.
Yeah. He just didn't like her behavior.
Yeah. Third one, we really kind of didn't have a suspect because everyone was like, oh, it's the guy!
Yeah. And up front, no one has a motive.
Nobody. Not for the first 2. But certain observations about that third murder, the miscarrying letter. The observation that perhaps the miscarrying letter was on purpose.
Mhm.
That's what's led us to our C murder is the real murder theory. Which is why we're looking so closely at the people involved in the C murder. It feels different. And the C murder is the one that changes 3 aspects.
Okay, so we need to just go to the car.
Namely, victim is this time a guy, whereas before it's been women, which is
To white heaven,
coincidental.
please.
Mm-hmm.
Second, it involved information that could not have been gathered on the fly. Third, it happened up close and personal.
Cust's arrest is a great success for you, Poirot.
Bloodily.
It's all clear now, except maybe 1 or 2 details.
Details. Ah, mon ami. The devil is in the detail, as
Yeah.
we say.
There's a great deal of money involved.
Right.
Excuse me?
Patience, Hastings. Everything will be clear once I
Oh,
guest arrive.
it's time for the gather the
Best be
suspects in
prepared.
the room.
Slip a
Parlor
revolver
room.
into your pocket before
Another
they do.
Christie trope.
A revolver? But Poirot, what are you afraid of?
Trust me. It is important you carry a weapon for this meeting. I will lend you mine.
What about telling me what you have in mind?
Surtout pas. You wouldn't be able to play your role. Wait 1 moment, I will bring you my weapon.
Alright, we gotta find where he's got the revolver hiding at here. I'm gonna guess this case here. Nope, that's gonna bring me around to him.
What about telling me what you have in mind?
Surtout pas. You wouldn't be able to play your role. Wait 1 moment, I will bring you my weapon.
What
All
about
right.
telling me what you have in mind?
So we can't do any observing.
Surtout pas. You wouldn't be able to
I'm
play
writing
your
down
role.
in big bold
Wait 1
letters
moment,
our
I will bring
suspect
you
so
my
that I
weapon.
can put it up in front of the camera if we're right.
Alright, we need to find where the revolver's hiding. There's one
Churston,
of the
Devon,
ABCs.
population 500 inhabitants. How will...
And then Hastings Hunting Book. It didn't save that for some reason.
Hastings' photo album. He is very proud of his bag.
And that's why he wants him to have the revolver on hand. He knows he's a good shot.
If it comes down to it.
Alright. Bring the revolver to Hastings. Probably in his desk?
Good a guess as any. But first...
Oh. Yeah. We better do the stash check.
Because who knows if we're going to get another chance.
Stash check must be performed. Cleaning Tomcat.
Is that the award for stash checking every time you can? Is that what that is?
Might be. Hard to say.
Goodness.
Yep, it's in his desk. No, we're not seeing the revolver anywhere. Is it in here?
The white ammunition are blank cartridges. The others are real bullets.
I don't know which one Poirot
I have
wants.
to choose the type of bullets to load.
Looks like we're gonna have to click on...
The revolver is loaded with blancs. I still have time to choose real bullets.
Oh boy.
The revolver is loaded with real bullets. I still
says-
have time to choose blancs.
Which one do we want?
Well, we don't know what his plan is. We're choosing whether someone lives or dies here. I don't know what he's planning.
Alright. Let's come back here. Because I didn't hear all... I missed all of what he said there at the beginning.
The white ammunition are blank cartridges. The others are real bullets.
Okay, it didn't give us a clue. That's where the
It's
revolver...
not gonna...
The revolver
which
is
do we
loaded
want?
with blancs. I still have time to choose real bullets.
We're basically choosing whether somebody lives or dies here.
Because we don't know if he wants the gunshot for dramatic effect
Or to actually
or
defend
it's
somebody.
defense. I'm going to lean towards defense.
The revolver is loaded with real bullets. I still have time to choose blancs.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
If all else fails, Hastings can always aim high.
Yeah.
But if it comes down to a defensive situation, the blanks aren't going to help.
No.
He can always fire into the ceiling.
Yeah.
What about telling me what you have in...
Surtout pas. You wouldn't be able to play your role. Wait one moment, I will bring you my weapon.
Oh, of course.
Voila, I entrust you with my weapon. It has hardly been used, it is almost new.
Telephone.
I kind of really don't like that choice. Or that we were given that choice.
Yeah.
Without any idea what's coming.
Chief Inspector, is that you?
Yes. Sorry, but we haven't found anything.
Have you checked the typewriter?
And the packaging, the letter, and the ribbon reel. We've only found prints left by Cust and his landlady.
Well, never mind, I shall make do.
So, are you still going to hold your meeting?
Of course, Chief Inspector. I can hear my guests coming up the stairs.
Why have you brought us here, Mr. Poirot?
Since Cust's arrest, I thought it was all done and dusted. Miss Gray formally identified him, as well as Miss Barnard.
Yes, and the stockings he saw drove the same brand as the ones found at my aunt's.
This is all true. However, a case is not closed if some questions remain open. And one question is, why did the murderer send me his letters? Why did he challenge me, Hercule Poirot?
True.
Perhaps he wanted to play with you, to taunt you.
Xenophobia? Maybe he didn't like you because you're foreign.
I may be wrong, but maybe by provoking you, he was looking for glory?
All these theories should be studied.
They're all viable options.
Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Why did the murderer make a mistake in the address? The error in the address caused it to be delivered.
Okay, let's start across. Okay.
Body was still warm.
warm.
How's that relevant? Envelope with the wrong address. Throw it up. Letter's late arrival saved the murderer. Could be. Poirot's address is not well known.
Okay, so we know it's not.
So at least one of those is wrong.
That would explain why Mickey.
Challenge for glory. No. The error caused it to be delivered late. Poirot's. Take off the address being well known and replace it with the other one. Always warn Poirot about his murderer.
Hang on. Nope, I want that back up there. Nope. Alright, let's start from scratch.
Okay, so the chain of events is...
What?
So my thought, the chain of events is we always got a warning,
Well, we got the warning.
but this one was delivered late because of that number. And that late delivery
Bingo.
caused...
Of course.
Following the chain of events gave us the three pieces to say what we've been saying for a bit.
That it was done.
It was done on purpose.
Why did he send the letters to Poirot? No, not for,
For
the
glory doesn't make sense. But, given what we just stated, how the heck do you misaddress a letter
that you've done
to Scotland Yard? You can't.
Or more importantly, the first two letters were sent correctly, and the third one wasn't.
Which is another hint that this was intentional, but
Right.
a slightly different point than the one I'm trying to make right
Okay.
now.
What point are you trying to make?
Say Poirot weren't involved with this.
Okay.
How the heck do you get a letter to miscarry when you've addressed it to Scotland Yard? It's literally just Scotland Yard.
Right.
It has a different address, actually. The address for the front side of the building. But nobody uses that address because that address is super inconvenient. Everybody used the back door, which opened onto Scotland Yard. So when you're sending a letter to the police, you send it to Scotland Yard. There's no addressing. There's no mistakes to be made. He needed a private address because you can't make this kind of mistake if you're sending it to the police. His address isn't well known, so it was easy to make the mistake. People wouldn't see Poirot and know, oh, right, this is the guy who lives on Whitehaven, not on
Is
White
everything
Castle.
clear now?
You might like to explain your reasoning again.
Of course. First of all, remember that the murderer made it a rule to always post his letter before the murder. He never digressed from that rule. However, in Churston, he encountered a problem. The village has only 500 inhabitants. With advance warning, it would be easy to arrest him. Therefore, the murderer delayed his letters deliberately with the wrong address. The plan wouldn't have worked if he'd sent it to Scotland Yard or the papers because everybody knows their addresses. The mistake would have been corrected and the letter would have been on time. That is why the murderer chose me as the recipient.
Because for his plan to succeed, it was necessary for at least one of the letters to have a wrong address and get lost. It was very cunning.
Absolument. It is a very subtle plan. It matches the profile we have drawn up of him perfectly. That of an intelligent, daring and calculating murderer.
But that's not how you describe Cust.
Ding!
You are quite right, mademoiselle. Like you, I find it hard to believe that this dull character is the clever murderer we are looking for.
Do madmen... I mean, if he's mad, he might have two very different sides.
No doubt. But the murderer is not mad.
Yep.
All the specialists
Agreed,
agree that he
Critwitch.
does not have the profile of the psychopath.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But if Cust is not guilty, how do you explain his presence at the scene of the crimes?
Mr. Clark, the answer to your question is in the medical records of your brother's patients. Documents which Cust most certainly did not have access to.
True. You wouldn't have had access to them.
Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Another reason for C murder is the real murder.
What do we know about Cust? We know he's easily influenced. Tries to overcome his travel sick. Oh. No. That's not gonna apply.
They're in the records. That's not really about Cust. He was a door-to-door salesman, true. Well, we don't know that. Was in the war and has never been the same in the head since, true. Wounded during the war, true. That's the last one isn't really about Cust.
Nope.
But we do know easily influenced out of experience, and that he's not been the same.
He didn't want to travel often by train.
Or would it be easily influenced and wounded during the war? Would that be the combination?
Yep, that's it.
Okay. Mentally fragile and easy to manipulate, which is
Yep.
exactly what the person did.
How to explain his presence?
He was selling stockings. We know the first one. Now we just have to figure out which one is the second.
Right.
That doesn't
It
help
has
us.
nothing to do with it.
Maybe?
Maybe. No.
Yeah. It's not really. Traveling often. Yeah, okay. That one I could see. But we don't really know that as a fact. Maybe he did just want to go swimming. Nope. Okay.
Let's see.
Okay. How to explain his presence?
Nope, it's not that one.
Maybe that center one isn't the one we're looking for?
Might be.
Okay, so we exclude the one in the center and try again.
Let's start again. What would explain his presence at the crime scenes?
He wanted to go swimming?
Possibly.
Or the trains. Because that's the only other one that has to do with travel. No. Or are they asking how he got tied up in this?
How to explain his presence at the scenes?
Oh, we've been asking this as what was Cust doing there as far as Cust was aware. This is asking the question of how did somebody get him roped into all of this? In which case it would be the medical records and the medical records.
Right.
We've been answering the wrong question.
Yeah, we've been answering the wrong question.
Cust was manipulated.
Yeah, we were approaching it the wrong way.
Dr. Clark's patient's records provided a very useful
Why he
list
went
of
as opposed to
potential
why he
victims,
was sent.
sorted by
Yeah.
alphabetical order. The killer definitely used it, explaining the fact that all the victims were former patients of the doctor. It is this fact that clears Cust once and for all, because he never had
Never
access
had
to these
access
records.
to the records.
So how did he happen to be at the scene of the crimes? Either the murderer sent him there, or Cust was following him closely. Cust's highly suggestible nature leads us to the second hypothesis. The murderer was manipulating him. He systematically sent Cust to the towns where he was going to strike, so that the suspicion would land on the poor man's shoulder.
That's evil. What sort of killer could have such a plan? And what would he gain from three completely different murders?
Indeed, it seems unlikely that the same murderer committed all the crimes. What should we take from that?
All right.
Well, say that there are 3 murderers, not really upheld because the
No.
second one wouldn't have known about the first one's signature.
Yeah, because they didn't release the stuff about the ABC until after the second.
Say that the murderer kills for pleasure. Doesn't quite fit. It doesn't really make sense. If this were an adrenaline junkie, he would have just been going crazy. Or she. I mean, could be she. Say that the killer has developed a taste for murder. This was too premeditated, buddy. But then there's the theory that we've been playing since 2 or 3 episodes ago.
Yeah.
C murder is the real murder. Only one mattered.
And we're going to go with that one.
Just one murder was of benefit to the murderer. The others were just diversions. On reflection, there is only
someone
one
wasn't
conclusion.
liked.
The murderer killed once out of interest and twice to divert our attention. This reasoning points at 2 potential culprits.
Franklin Clark.
Donald Fraser?
Yes, mademoiselle. That's good thinking. Mr. Fraser may have killed Betty out of jealousy. Mr. Clark may have killed his brother in order to inherit his large fortune. Both have a motive.
But Donald did not have access to Dr. Clark's records.
Please allow me to disagree with you, mademoiselle.
That's right. We did find documents with Donald's firm's name on them in Clark's objects.
In the sense, he could have had access.
Yeah. Yeah, because Donald was not treated by him. He was not resting at Churston, and we have evidence for the third. So, yeah.
He works for Court and Brunskill, one of whose clients was Sir Carmichael.
It doesn't prove that I went to Comeside.
You could have done it, and you may have used the opportunity to take a look at Sir Carmichael's records.
You think I'm guilty?
You or Mr. Franklin Clark?
That's ridiculous.
Both of you have a motive. The question is, which of you has the profile that most resembles the murderer? Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
First, the accountant.
Is he clever?
All right. Let's start from the beginning of the row and work over.
Megan really liked Donald Fraser.
Doesn't help us. Would have made Betty a good husband, always attentive and generous. Not what we need right now.
Immaterial.
I have doubts about myself. I don't know what to do, and I keep having a horrible dream 3 nights in a row.
Possible.
I mean, it's not clever of him to say this to us, but I think there could be better evidence out there somewhere. Yeah. Bright man with a promising career ahead of him. Okay, maybe. More likely.
Okay.
Awful scene. She told him that until they were married, she was free to go with whomever she pleased. Donald turned pale and started shaking. Not really what we need. Well, women seem to like him. Immaterial. As you said earlier.
Yeah, I think Megan.
I like the use of that word for this.
I'll sleep on the train. I like trains. It's easy to sleep blocked by. So that not for this question. So is he clever?
Yeah, bright man.
Yeah. He's clever enough to have done it.
Yeah. Is he sure of himself?
I think we know.
Oh yeah.
From seeing this one, it's going to be that one.
He is not. He is not confident in himself. He is so unsure of himself that he went to a detective to deal with this.
Is Donald a seducer?
Oh, yeah. Women seem to like him.
2 out of 3 is not enough.
Does Donald like trains? He likes trains. Last item.
He does like trains.
I like trains. I'm not going to make the sound effect again.
Methodical, prepares his crimes meticulously.
Attentive and generous.
Good gentleman.
Until they were married, free to go with whomever she... So one of those last 2. But I think that middle one might fit more for the generosity question we know is coming up.
Too quick-tempered.
Yeah. Generosity.
Yeah. He bet some, but
like
not all.
Half-ish. Half and half.
Ladies and gentlemen, Donald may share many character traits with the murderer, but he does not have his cold indifference. He has a temper. It is hard to imagine him planning anything. Also, jealousy is his motive, and crimes of passion are rarely planned.
That is true.
Right, I suppose it's my turn to be subjected to the same scrutiny.
Absolument, Mr. Clark.
He doesn't make any bones about it.
And get our brain cells to work.
He's not apologizing. Your turn.
Alrighty. Is he clever? Let's start at the beginning here.
Evasive? No. Not
About
what.
the relation? No. Good student, but lacked discipline.
Charming.
No.
Not what we need to know. Dear Franklin, I wish you a good start to a successful year. I've received your letter. Thanks for defending my interests against this robber. Things could have gone bad if you weren't a real cool-blooded guy. I envy you for that.
No need for later.
No. I'm not really. Oh, yeah, makes sense.
That's
Reimbursement.
generosity.
So it's the first one.
I think it's going to
He's
be
a good
the
student.
classrooms. Yeah. Good student, but lacked discipline. I had a feeling that was it, but we needed to make sure. All right. Is he self-confident?
Oh, yeah. Almost sick. Lovely boy, very plucky and sure of himself.
Yep.
Those are the exact words.
The exact words from Lady Clark herself. Seduced Betty before taking her to the beach where she was strangled.
Come on, I'm a married man, and Miss Grey is already being courted. Horrible timing, but yeah, he is a seducer.
Yep.
Does he like trains? I present to you object from his safe.
Yep. Likes trains because he kept the book about the trains. Among his treasures.
Is he impulsive? Things could have gotten real bad if you weren't a real cool-blooded guy. I just hope we picked the right choice with the bullets.
We'll find out.
Is he generous? He offered to pay the train tickets.
Yep. Yeah, would help Miss Drawer.
As you have all seen, there is a disturbing similarity between Mr. Clark's profile and that of the killer. In actual fact, it is exactly the same.
Mr. Poirot, your psychological studies are interesting, but your conclusions do not add up. Why would I have wished my brother's death? The inheritance is lawfully mine. I just have to wait.
No, you had to act quickly.
Do we go? Is it the impatience or the threat of Thora Gray?
This guy is cool-blooded.
But he did lack discipline, according to school records. But go ahead. Explain your theory.
Okay, my thought is, why would he have had to act quickly if it weren't from some outside threat? He could have just waited. He would have just waited.
Right.
But Thora is a very real, present threat to him getting that fortune.
Right. Especially if he's kept looking at her like a daughter. Even getting part of the inheritance might mess up his overall plans.
I mean, they have one kid. Congratulations, it's cut in half.
Yep.
If not just gone. And while he said daughter, the impressions that Poirot was pulling were
spousal.
No.
Alright, let's go with Thora Gray.
I could be wrong here.
Because of Miss Grey.
But I think it's Miss Grey. +3 ego points. Yep.
Nailed it.
You haven't been telling the truth. There is no doubt in my mind that you would have found a way to marry Sir Carmichael after Lady Clark's death. For you, Mr. Clark, it was a disaster. If Miss Grey had children by your brother, you would not have inherited a thing. You realized the danger after reading several letters from Comside, especially one in which your brother opened his heart to you. So you hurried home from China, and you took action. In truth, Cust was no more than a puppet manipulated by the real culprit. You, Mr. Clark.
Such an imagination, Mr. Poirot. In fact, nobody manipulated Cust. The famous instructions he received by post. He wrote them on the typewriter. We know that for sure.
Oh no, you know perfectly well that is not true. Eh bien voilà, light has now been shed on the ABC murders.
Your theories are ingenious, but you haven't any proof.
One point to him. For the moment, I have no material proof. Either I admit to it, or I bluff.
I don't know.
All right. I'm going to pull a caveat having read a number of Hercule Poirot novels. I have never seen him bluff in any of the Agatha Christie's novels. That I recall. And with his personality, would he do that?
I kind of don't think so. I know he wouldn't invent anything about the tobacco shop because, like heck, there's nothing there. That's pointless.
Right.
If he were going to bluff, it'd be about the typewriter, but I kind of don't think he would.
And we know that he's been in contact with Jap, so hopefully Jap is on the way.
Yeah.
So which way do we want to go? Or do we want to leave it up to the randomizer?
If we leave it up to the randomizer, it could hit the tobacco shop. If he's never bluffed once, why would there be an exception?
Okay. So
I'm going to trust your expertise in Agatha Christie on this one.
All right, we'll go with say the proof is going to be easy to find.
Proof is easy to find now that we know where to look.
You have nothing on me. You're bluffing, Mr. Poirot. Come on, Thora, there's nothing for us to do here.
Don't touch me.
Thora!
I understand why you never wanted to lend me your new typewriter. And why you were searching through your brother's things. And the hole you dug on the moors. What did you hide there? The knife you used to kill your brother?
All right. Well played. I lose. The game's up.
Hold it up a little bit closer to the camera.
Don't come near me!
It was supposed to be blanks. We should have picked blanks.
I'll never let you take me, Mr. Poirot.
Now, I wish we had the blanks. There, we
Took the
messed
law
up.
into his own hands.
He had no right. He should have paid for his crimes.
Okay, we go.
I should have expected
Boy,
what he
screw
did.
it up.
Come on, Poirot. Everybody makes mistakes.
Exactly. Hastings, if one day I sound pretentious, please whisper these
That range
3
of blank would
letters in
probably
my
still be
ear.
fatal.
That's true.
ABC.
Like the thing that happened on the set of the movie Rust.
They shall remind me that we all have our limits, even me.
Disappointed at having missed the chance to become Lady Clark, Thora Grey left England. Donald Fraser and Megan Barnard married.
Surprise, surprise.
Well, they actually sued each other.
On
Unlike her
Poirot's
sister.
recommendation, Mary Drower started to work for Lady Clark.
Oh.
The elderly lady's condition suddenly took a turn for the better,
Someone being
and a
poisoned.
few months later, to Dr. Logan's great surprise, she was back on her feet again.
Oh, spontaneous remission.
According to this eminent physician,
The said arrest
it
had live
appears to
rounds
be
for
an
no good
extremely
reason.
rare case of spontaneous remission.
Yeah.
Lady Clark has enjoyed very good health ever since.
Makes me think maybe she had a form of lymphoma then or something like that.
Journal of an Innocent. The incredible story of ABC. As for AB Coast, After being advised by Poirot, he made a great deal of money by selling his story to the press. And as for me, and with business booming, the Black Swan has become the #1 tourist attraction in the whole of Yorkshire, even more popular than York Minster.
All right, and that brings us to the credits.
Well, we
Oh, they actually had live rounds on the set there? That doesn't sound right. But anyway, all right. So we're going to let the credits run. Whenever we go to the movies, we always stay to watch all the credits, not just to look for cutscenes and all that, but so we can give the people who've done all the hard work in the background their credit dues. We're going to let the credits run here. So,
this stuff ain't easy.
yeah. That was a very, very challenging.
Yeah.
I
That
just
was
wish
fun.
I wish now we'd gone with the blanks.
But we couldn't have known. Because for all we knew, we were expecting Franklin Clark to pull out his own gun.
Yeah. I wonder if that might happen if you did do it and put in the blanks. I may experiment with that later on.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we can go back to saves and try to redo it or anything.
We also watched credits
Yeah.
down in
Cool.
Yep. Nice.
I'm glad I know we're not the only ones that do that, but that's always what I've always tried to do. So we'll let these credits roll here. I'm kind of anxious waiting for kind of the voice actor credits so I can see who did the voices for everybody here if it shows, which it probably should. So, we've completed the ABC murders. However, our adventures with Hercule Poirot have just begun.
Mm-hmm. We found another game based on one of Agatha Christie's works. I don't remember which one.
It's actually by the same software company, but these cases are going to be early in Poirot's career. I think these are going to be pre-Christie novel oriented. I believe. Although, come to think of it, Agatha Christie did write some early case novels of Hercule Poirot when he was just beginning in the police force. So maybe it's based off of those.
Could be.
Those were,
Either way, I know I definitely haven't read any of these ever.
Yeah, I'm wanting to say that was a short. I'm wanting to say that was a short story collection.
Because I did read ABC's like at least half a decade ago, probably longer. Yeah, because it was in high school. And all I remembered was the somewhat more explicit version of Betty Bernard's sister. What was the name? Of Megan Bernard's line regarding
voice recording. Here we go. Voice talent English.
Julien
See if there's any no names that I recognize. The French version. There's the French version.
Yeah.
Motion capture performers. All right.
All I really remembered was the somewhat more explicit version of Megan Bernard's line concerning her sister's true attitude and actions. That she was an unmitigated little expletive. A remark denoted after Poirot's comment of, "Can I talk to somebody who doesn't know she's dead?"
Yeah, so it's probably gonna be same game, same format, but this will be ones for sure that we are not familiar with. I read ABC.
I definitely haven't.
I read the ABC Murders a long time ago, probably like 15, 20 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And I remembered the basis, but I couldn't remember the details, and obviously I couldn't remember who for sure did it. I think things started coming back as we started going through refreshing memories and all that, but I didn't know. But I had no knowledge for sure. But we nailed it.
The thumbnail's a close-up on this with the name blurred. Or just let me arrange myself for the thumbnail.
Copyright Agatha Christie Limited. Copyright Microids SA. Based on the novel The ABC Murders of Microids version. So as we roll these out, the way schedule is going to be Wednesday night will be the weekly Skyrim serial, where we're doing the random legacy of Zarzur Tinteroff, my snow elf / ancient Falmer, who is now highly ensconced in activities for the Thieves Guild and trying to investigate who is trying to set up Thieves Guild for things that are going on against him and against Maven Blackbriar. And then Saturday's going to be my big pay-per-view event for Grappler's Keep, the WWE 2K20 universe, where a number of DMs, GMs, and other tabletop RPG players compete in a ring that we lovingly call the Dice Tray. We'll be having the big Fiendish Stockade pay-per-view. This is the equivalent to the WWE Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. And we're going to have several matches that are going to be in the cell, or as we call it, our Fiendish Stockade. I've even created a whole new arena just for this. So we'll be doing that. Then next week we'll be back with the early cases of Hercule Poirot here on Family Night at the Emporium, as we wait for these credits to keep going and going.
And going.
Well, everyone gets their credit, so we'll be around for that. Saturdays, actually, I won't be on Saturday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but on Wandering SOC, the newly renamed, it used to be Wandering DM, now it's Wandering Society. We'll be doing Scion. It's a tabletop RPG where our characters play the sons and daughters of gods from various different pantheons from across the globe. I play a Irish literature professor who's actually the son of Ogma, one of the Gaelic deities. And we have just met a new Scion that we don't know where she's from or who she's from, but she seems to be a little bit involved. Our paths are intersecting as we're trying to find some stuff, and she's trying to find some stuff as well. And so I won't be on there directly per se. I have to work, but I'll be watching and stuff like that. But I highly recommend you join Simon and all the rest of the gang there for that one as well. All right, we're up to sound design and more voice recording.
Thanks to our family for early testing during Corona.
Is this repeating? I think it is.
Yeah, that's the voice talent.
Yeah, so that's repeating on us. Now,
not bad.
Not bad.
75%.
We got 486 out of 600 ego points.
So that's 70%.
Let's see, 468. Enter 600 divided. 78%.
Not bad.
Not bad.
And we got most of the mustache checks, I would say.
Okay, let's look at the trophies.
Imperial mustache. Looks like we got all the mustaches.
Cat's eye.
Cat's eye. Having penetrated a person's thoughts with one look. Finishing half the observations. So we got most of the observations.
Get eagle eye.
Yours are exceptional. You've solved the question, solved half the question, solved every question. Rustic confessional.
Yeah.
Conducted an interrogation perfectly. Conducted half of the interrogations perfectly. Conducted all of the interrogations perfectly, which I hadn't thought we'd done, but okay.
Yeah, I guess we did with that one.
Symmetry.
Clover.
I'm not quite certain what this is actually saying we did. Symmetry.
Probably finding all the things that weren't messed up and everything. Okay, what's season? We didn't get the season 133, Chris, whatever.
Which is a lot of symmetry.
Yeah.
Small donkey, even Poirot sometimes makes mistakes. So this is for goofing up.
Messing up. Purring
tomcat. Simply
Cleaning
taking the time to sit in a good chair. all the mustache checks.
We made sure we got that.
We got so many stash checks. We got the cat.
Single gear.
Solving
half
puzzles.
The riddles. Quadruple. Solved all the riddles.
Newspapers. Reading the newspapers. Being stoned by the press.
Taking matters calmly.
And that's probably for reading all the newspapers.
And here's all the mustaches. Oh, we didn't get the Gandhi mustache. Open the secret drawer. Don't know what that is. We didn't get the sheriff or the dolly or the black swan one.
We got Thor's hammer. Can't believe
Thor's
I still have the
Protector
gifted
Secrets.
sub. Yay. Stash heart. Love it.
All right. So, telescope.
Some indiscretions are tolerated in the interest of truth, such as searching without a warrant, reading the clerk's correspondence, and opening a parcel addressed to Thora Gray. Yeah, we weren't supposed
we didn't get the Black Dragon. We didn't get the Dragon's secret heart.
Can't hide anything from Poirot.
Red Cross. Helping Lady Clark and Cust.
Prove the common origin of the letters sent by the killer.
Alright. Alright, so we'll go ahead and bring things to a close here. So thank you everyone for coming and joining us. And we'll be back again next Monday for the, as it's called here, let me find the Agatha Christie, Hercule Poirot, the first cases.
Ooh.
Next week on Family Night in the Emporium. So we're definitely gonna do a raid here. We're gonna do a raid to Wandering Society. Right now, they're in the process of doing their grand opening and all that. They're getting their things going for their new setup. So we're going to raid them. Let me get on the right screen to do that with. That's not the right screen. I want Disa one. And then helps if I learn how to spell. So C. So on behalf of Bonnie and myself, until next time, may green be the grass below you, may blue be the sky above you, may straight be the path before you, and warm be the hearts that love you. Good night, everybody. This has been a Diet Water production.
Definitely. Hello, Hawkeye. Hello, Raiders. You're coming in while we're talking about the rebranding to the Wandering Society.
That was fun.
Yeah. The brother did it.
Yeah.
Tonight's match went well. Or was it Skyrim?
Currently active. All streams recording will be shut
If
down.
anything, I hope it went well. Welcome to the official launch of the Wandering Society. So
Third murder was the C murder was the real murder.
And so consider this the first
Oh, I didn't.
call